this lesson, we'll cover adding pipe accessories. So you may ask, well, what is a pipe accessory? Well, a pipe accessory could be a valve, could be a temperature gauge, could be a pressure gauge. But we also have pipe fittings. Those could be an elbow or an end cap. So let's look at both of those examples here within our Revit project. I'm going to zoom in the upper left corner of my Comp Revit project, and what you'll notice is I have a pipe run coming out from the main pipe system, and it just stops abruptly. Well, what we want to do with this pipe is actually put an end cap on the end of it, and once we do that, we actually like to drop in a valve. So we'll use the pipe fitting and the pipe accessory tools to do both. So let's go to the Systems tab on your ribbon, and then in the Plumbing and Pipe panel, first we'll click Pipe Fitting. Now, if you don't have any pipe fittings preloaded, Revit will prompt you to load a family of pipe fittings. You can also do that right now if you wanted to. Click Load Family and load additional families. However, in this Revit project, we already have the families loaded that we need for this example. So I'm going to use the MCAP generic standard end cap to place on the end of this pipe. So basically what I need to do once I select the actual property of what I'm using is to mouse over the actual center line of the pipe. And then I will move out to the end and snap this off of the end of the actual pipe itself. When you see a position like you see on my screen, simply click that object snap, and what will happen is Revit will snap that pipe fitting to the end of the pipe segment. Click Modify. Now another example is to place a pipe accessory. So the pipe accessory is right below pipe fitting. Let's go ahead and click Pipe Accessory. And again, in the Properties area on the left, I have my accessories listed. For this example, we're using the ball valve 2-inch. So I'll just verify that I have the 2-inch ball valve selected because that's equivalent to the actual pipe diameter. 50 millimeters is 2 inches. So again, same as you did with the pipe fitting, the pipe accessory is placed the same way. Move your mouse over the pipe until you see the actual center line. When you see the center line, go ahead and left click. This will add that pipe accessory into the actual pipe line or pipe segment. Make the appropriate cuts for that accessory to be added. And again, I can continue to place more if I choose, or simply click Modify. Now the accessories, depending upon the symbol, do have tools to actually flip the orientation, in this case of the handle if I wanted to. And I also have the drag tool, or the drag marks, to actually move the actual location of this or the fittings off of each head. To see this in 3D, let's scroll down to your 3D plans and double click on the typical WSHP 3D view, and then zoom in. This will show the actual two elements we just added. One, the end cap, which is a pipe fitting, and two, the actual valve, which is a pipe accessory. So as a review in this lesson, we looked at adding pipe accessories and pipe fittings. We talked about the differences between the pipe fitting and pipe accessories, and we talked about the method of how to actually add those. We also mentioned how to load additional components, or fittings or accessories, if they're currently not in your Revit project. In this lesson, we'll cover pipe systems. So before you start to actually build your layout of different pipes and components of your pipes, whether that be fitting or accessories, you need to define a pipe system. The pipe system is technically the glue that holds everything together. It's also needed for analysis. Basically, it'll analyze everything in that system or what belongs to that system. So to create a system, I need to first create at least one piece of equipment, one mechanical element. That way I can start to build that mechanical system, in this case the piping system. I can add everything to it first, or I can add things to it as I go. So on my screen, I've actually added 2 more additional mechanical elements. If I mouse over each one, you'll see the mechanical equipment element on the left has been added and the one on the right has been added. Highlights even belong to a system, they're just floated. And I'm going to use those 2 as an example to add a new system. To bring up the system browser, go to the View tab on your ribbon, then all the way to the right to User Interface, and checkmark System Browser. This will turn on the System Browser. On the System Browser, Verify View is set to Systems, and set the secondary category for discipline to Piping. This will list all piping systems and anything not assigned to a piping system. So currently right now, I see I have 8 piping systems. The one we're going to add is going to be an additional hydronic supply system. So it's going to be listed under the hydronic supply that I have highlighted on my screen. So to do this, all we have to do is simply highlight the components, or in this case, the mechanical equipment that we want to add to this new system. So I'm going to window these in. I'm just going to drag a window from left to right around the 2 yellow elements that currently do not belong to any system. Now, if you accidentally grab more than what you want, you can use the filter button to filter out all the elements that you don't want. Or just simply hold the control key and select both of these pieces of mechanical equipment. Now, once you do this, and if these do not belong to a system, on the ribbon to the very right, you'll have a systems panel. This will ask you what type of system do you want to create. Given these pieces of mechanical equipment can have all 3 systems, duct, power, and piping, I have the choice to create one of all 3, or all 3. In this instance here, I'm just going to choose piping. What will happen next is Revit is going to ask us, well, what type of system do you want to add? In this case, I'm going to add a hydronic supply system. And as you can see, you can choose different ones if you want to. I'm going to name the system just so it stands out, Hydronic Supply 100. Now, I can open this in the system browser right now if I want to in the editor to add additional things to it, but I'm not going to. I'll show you how to actually do that in a separate step. So with these set, just click OK. It's going to ask me now, based on the connectors on each of these units, which one do you want to use? Well, I'm going to use connector 1 on the hydronic supply, round 20mm pipe. Click OK. And I'm going to use the same one on the other unit. Click OK. What that will do is add these 2 elements, in this case, these 2 pieces of mechanical equipment, to the Hydronic Supply 100 system. And I see this now in my system browser on the right. And I can expand it, and you'll actually see both of those elements that were added to the system browser. Now, if you wanted to add additional elements to the actual system, this is where you can edit the system. So if I click on the Hydronic Supply 100 system, on the ribbon in System Tools, I could choose Edit System. Doing so will bring up a new ribbon, allowing me to add new elements to the system. Currently, I don't have any additional ones to add, but if I were to add additional mechanical equipment, I could add them to this existing system. Just cancel in this example. So as a review, in this lesson, what we looked at is how to create piping systems. We talked about the importance of a piping system as it's the glue that holds everything together within that system. We talked about creating first a component or mechanical element, at least one or a few, that we can use to add to that piping system. Once those are added to the system, we can add additional ones by editing the system. And we also looked at the system in the system browser. In this lesson, we'll cover creating automatic pipe layouts. So once you have your pipe system created and your mechanical equipment for your pipe system, the next step is to actually lay out your pipes. Now, you could lay these out manually by choosing a pipe and then adding segments from one point to another point. You can also use a pipe placeholder, basically a conceptual way of laying out the pipes and then later on converting those pipes. Now, the other way is to do an automatic pipe layout by choosing the system. The system would contain mechanical components or other piping components, and the system would choose or present optional routes of how to route the pipe from one point to another point. The way you go about this first is to display the system browser. If you do not see the system browser as you see it on my screen, you can view it by going to the View tab on the ribbon, all the way to the right to the User Interface drop-down, and then checkmark System Browser. This will turn on the system browser. Verify Systems is selected in the view, and then Piping is selected for this one. This will just show piping systems. Now, the piping system that we want to use to route in this example is the Hydronic Supply 100 system. Basically, it only contains the 2 pieces of mechanical equipment that you see on your screen, surrounded by the dashed lines. We want to route piping from one unit to the other unit. So to do this, go ahead and select the Hydronic Supply 100 system. Then on your ribbon in the Layout panel, you have 2 options. the layout pipes were to lay out the placeholder pipes. Again, the placeholder pipes are just singular lines used to actually conceptually lay out your pipes. They could be converted to full pipes or regular pipes at a later point. In this example, though, we're going to use generate layout. So when you click generate layout, the ribbon changes. It's presenting you now with solutions. You have solution types. And you can see on your screen, it's routing pipes now from one unit to the other unit in one of three options, and this being the first option. If I hit the right arrow for my next solution, it will show me another route. Hit the arrow again to see another route. And as you can see, you have different options of different types of solutions for routing your pipes from one point to another point. The Settings tab actually controls the main branch lines of what the offsets would be from the level they're bound to, or reference tab. So 2,750 millimeters, roughly about 8.5 feet. Go ahead and click OK. And you also can apply slope value. Slope value if I needed to slope these pipes from one point to another point. You can also change the solution type to perimeter and intersections. Again, changing these will give me different options. So for perimeter, I have a value that I can set. They'll actually route the pipes based on these values. And again, I have different options of what I'll be given or presented with based on what I want to choose. Once you have an actual route that you like, that you want to use, you can accept it. You can also use the Edit Layout button all the way on the left of the ribbon to actually modify this current route. And again, once you find the route that you like, simply click Finish Layout. Once you click Finish Layout, the pipes will be generated in their full realistic mode, routed from one point to another point within your system. If I zoom in, I can actually see these pipes are the real pipes drawn at the full scale, with all of the attributes and all the parameters of full piping. So as a review, in this lesson, we looked at a way to automatically route pipes from one point to another point. We talked about the different ways to create piping, the manual process, and the process we looked at in this example, automatically creating pipes. Basically selecting your pipe system and then choosing to automatically lay out the pipes. And then Revit will calculate solutions and present those solutions to you of how it interprets routing a pipe from one point to another point. You cycle through the solutions and then choose the one you want.